Welcome to this edition of Pro House Cleaning. This is the place where we showcase the craft of professional house cleaning and how it is changing the way we understand how to clean homes and how important a clean home is for health. You know, getting up next to someone who owns a very successful house cleaning business and is passionate to help you avoid the pain and mistakes most of us experience. Certainly, I've experienced them as a house cleaning business owner. That is a very smart way to leverage yourself and leverage your business to success. Now, I had the opportunity to meet and talk with a short while ago a lady who wants to help you. Her name is Carrie Knight, and she's known as the cleaning boss. She owns a very successful house cleaning business in Tampa, Florida. But she'll tell you herself, it didn't start that way. Now, as I've had the pleasure of getting to know her a little bit, I can tell you that she did a lot of work and made a lot of investment in time and energy and money to make sure that her business was successful. And she wants to make sure that yours is successful if you're willing to do the work as well. She's become a strong leader in our industry. She's a new member on the ARCSI Leadership Council. And I'd like to give a warm welcome to Carrie Knight. She is the cleaning boss. Welcome, Carrie.
Thank you so much. That was a really nice intro. I appreciate that. And thank you so much for having me on.
Well, I'm excited. You have a lot of things going on. We've had the chance to visit briefly, and I'd like to have you tell the audience today a little bit of your background and how you got where you are today.
Yeah, so I never grew up saying one day I want to be a cleaning business owner. It just doesn't happen that way. I moved to Florida when my kids were really little, and at that time I decided to be a stay-at-home mom, and that worked for about 8 months. So I came out of the corporate world. I worked in corporate America for 12 years prior to being a stay-at-home mom. And when I jumped back into the corporate environment, I quickly realized why I hated it before, and it was because you have to give up your life essentially in corporate America. So that's 50 hours a week. And, back then you're traveling to, like today, there's a lot of flexibility to work at home, but back then you're traveling into the city to work in a corporate job in a corporate office. So for me, that meant I've got to go back into the corporate environment. I've got an hour drive into the city, maybe an hour drive home. And that's just not what I wanted when my family was young. I mean, my kids were little and I needed flexibility. So when I went back into the workforce, I quickly realized, okay, this is not going to work. And so that was the perfect time for me to say, I want to be my own boss. Let me explore what businesses that I can do that give me back my time freedom. And so one of the businesses that happened to be for sale was a cleaning business in Tampa, Florida. So it was an existing business that was for sale. And I think at that time they were 5 years in operation. There was some growth. Quick growth, but then he was declining. The owner at the time, he was on a decline. And really the business owner had checked out. So for me, I thought that this was a perfect time for me to buy because he was declining. And so I purchased my business right at the beginning of an economic recession. So nobody saw it coming in 2008 because things were so good for so long. Nobody saw this coming, but it was that real estate bubble, and Florida was hit really hard. And what happened here, because I'm in Tampa, Florida, is that overnight things went dark. It was all construction stopped on new homes, all infrastructure improvements. People were terrified of losing their jobs. So at that time, again, I just bought a business that had existing clients. At that time, what happened was our phone rang nonstop all day, every day with cancellations. People quit. And it wasn't just that people quit because they lost their job. They quit because they were afraid of losing their job. It's that fear factor of, oh my gosh, am I going to lose my job? And so what I had purchased was nearly gone and wiped out in like 3 months. It was really scary because remember, I bought this business that, you know, it had existing employees, all the infrastructure was in place. I thought for me personally, I was like, oh, well, I'm just going to come in here and within 3 years, I'm going to have $1 million business. So that was my thinking right from the beginning. I had, you know, I didn't anticipate what had happened, which is the economy would absolutely crash. So I went backwards before I ever went forward. So for me, I was on a decline for 3 years straight. And that during that 3 years, we lost everything. So we lost all of our money. We had put a second mortgage on our home, which meant we lost our home. And, you know, my marriage suffered. That was certainly on the decline. And, you know, I had to figure out what I was going to do. Like, how was I going to save this business? I mean, my first reaction was to sell it, which I tried to sell a declining business. And it's hard because when you're on the decline that fast, your business is worth essentially nothing. And so I cried myself to sleep most nights, to be honest with you. And I was in a really dark, ugly depression, and that lasted for a long time. And so I don't know what the turning point was. The fact that we had to short sell our home was, believe it or not, gave us an opportunity to start over. So it was like almost like reset, like, okay, let's start over. So that's what we did. And I had to get help. I certainly reached out for help luckily for me, I found a local business coach. She wasn't like the only reason, because what I did is I opened my mind to new ideas. Like that was the time where it was like, okay, I'm not doing something right. And so I allowed myself to like look at different things and just really explore what I was doing wrong. And it was like, that's when I started to make little changes. And then the little changes had big results. So as I said at the beginning, my goal was to have $1 million business in 3 years. It took me 10 years, but I got there. So, I mean, like my message to anybody who's struggling and going through it right now, and you're depressed and you know, you feel like every day is 2 steps back, 1 step forward. I have been there. I have truly been there. I've lived it. You know, at one time I was ashamed of my journey, but now I embrace my journey because it got me to be where I am today, and to like have the courage to say to other people, like, you can do this. If I can do it, you can do it. So like now my mission is to give hope to people who were once like me. And I know they're out there. I know there's a lot of people who are out there. I mean, that's what I've been put on this earth for now, is truly to help people, because I was there before. I've lived it, and I know what changes they need to take, you know, what they need to do and implement inside their business to get to where they're trying to get to. So that's my mission, and like that's my passion today.
So you had a goal.
Yeah.
You're going to climb up out of this hole.
Yep.
You had a goal when you first bought the business of in 3 years. It took you 10, but those first 3 of the 10 were nightmarish.
Nightmare.
And so it really took you net 7 after you got out of the hole to get where you wanted to be, right?
Right.
In your mind, in your pocketbook, in your number of customers, whatever it is. Right. So that is a success story. The success is you didn't give up. That's what this is all about, is you didn't give up.
Right.
So there's a lot of people that are going to be watching this, that are going to hear Carrie Knight's name for the first time.
Yeah.
So as part of the residential cleaning industry, because it's really unique. It's not like you go out and buy a lot of, you know, heavy duty things and real estate and so forth that banks like. Your asset really is your customer, you know, your income that comes from providing a service, and 2 weeks later the house is dirty again, and that's your asset.
Yeah.
So it's very, very intangible. And so for those in the residential clean industry, What do you believe the biggest challenges are in helping them succeed?
The number one challenge is employees, but you said the customer is an asset. I see your employees as an asset as well. You have to find a way to find good employees, but then you have to keep good employees. That's the key, is finding and keeping good employees. And you do that through creating a really good culture. So culture is everything in this industry. And it took me a long time to figure that out. And when I did, like, that was one of the small things that I changed that had a really big impact. I have had employees who've worked for me from the beginning, so 12 years. And the reason they stay is because they know they feel appreciated. We do things to appreciate them. I mean, their work is really hard work, and they can feel underappreciated for what they do in customers' homes. And sometimes they feel belittled by customers and, just devalued. So I created a culture where people wanted to come to work. I made them feel appreciated. I made them feel valued. So that's the key, I think, in this industry, is to make sure that you're building a company culture where people care about each other, where they want to come to work, they want to do a good job. And I mean, that for me, that was a missing piece for a lot of years. So, I mean, you said customers are an asset, but I believe that the employees are equally as much of an asset in your business. And when I bought my business, the employees that it came with were not good employees. So, I mean, you don't know that until you get inside, but in some cases, that your employees will destroy your business. So I had to clean house and find good employees.
And that can be like a cancer. And just
Oh,
to clarify for everyone listening,
yeah,
employees are more valuable than customers, because
absolutely.
great employees will get you great customers.
Yes, if you
So
take care of your employees, they will take care of your customers.
if you look at other great service businesses, restaurants are a great example. When you
Hmm.
have a great staff,
Yes,
then you're going to have people lining up to get in the
right.
door for the experience.
It's
And
true.
so there should always be some kind of a waiting line for a successful house cleaning business, even
Yep.
if it's 10 minutes. So um, I would rather have that than I would rather have people waiting than not enough employees. You need employees. That's
Yes,
your golden goose. You need to
ab-
take care of it. You
yes,
do
take care
not
of the golden goose.
do
Yes,
not do not slack on taking care of the golden goose.
right.
So now we have a big challenge in our world, COVID-19, and it
Yes.
is changing the world in how it views cleaning. Um, how do you think that impacts the house cleaning industry, especially for people thinking about getting into it?
You know, whenever there's a challenge, no matter what challenge it is, there's always opportunities. So I challenge people to look at this, what we're going through now with the pandemic, as how can I look at this more as finding the opportunity within this challenge? And for us, I mean, we've been able to hit this head on because we over communicated to our customers on what we're doing to take care of them. Remember, this is all about them. It has nothing to do with us, like the service part. Everything that we do is to take care of them. So we just used that mentality with COVID and said, okay, here's how we're taking care of you. We're wearing gloves, we're wearing masks, we're disinfecting our cars, we're washing our hands more frequently. All of our equipment is cleaned every night. And we make sure we over communicated that to our customers, that we're taking care of them. We went one step further. We actually have the electrostatic disinfection. So that's an opportunity. That's a new opportunity now that exists within our industry, where, I mean, you could spray a restaurant or a large hotel and make thousands of dollars because you're helping to safeguard their customers from getting sick. So again, that's another example of an opportunity that came out of a crisis. So there's always opportunity. it saddens me to see that so many people have looked at this as like, oh, things will never be the same. I'm going to lose everything. Like if you just change your mindset to say, okay, how can I do something differently to, to have a different result? Like, what can I do? Can I do some sort of disinfection? Can I add a product to disinfect my customers' homes? Again, it's all about the customer. I don't know if you've ever heard of WIFM, WIIFM,
What's
what's
in it
in
for
it for
me?
me? The customer is thinking, always thinking, what's in it for me? And what they're thinking right now is, how can my cleaning company prevent my family from getting sick? Like, how can my cleaning company help me not to get sick? That's what they're thinking is, what can they do inside my home so I don't get sick, so my kids don't get sick? So if you just change your thought process around what your customer is thinking, like what's in it for me, then you can implement different things. Like I said, the electrostatic, but it doesn't have to be the electrostatic. You can choose a disinfectant product that cleans their touch point surfaces throughout their home. Again, it's all about them and keeping them safe. So those are opportunities that exist today, and everyone needs to just change their mindset and say, okay, what opportunity do I have now in this economic climate? It's different. So, look around, see how it's changed, and then go in and capitalize on the new opportunity. They are there.
Absolutely.
You just have to be willing to open your eyes and to search for them because they are there.
So, a lot of people look at house cleaning as a commodity.
Right.
Well, one's no different than the other. But here is an opportunity, besides the type of service that you offer, for example, the electrostatic spraying or what have you, is you can become the authority in your community on educating the consumer and helping them feel comfortable with how to keep their home safe. Even if you provided that information and they didn't become your customer specifically, you just gave that information of maybe increasing hygienic cleaning and touch points and
Right.
identifying what those are and how to go about that as a customer service. Now you have put yourself out there as an authority in the community. And who are they going to turn to when things change for them or they feel comfortable having someone come back in their home?
Right.
And they may call you right away and say, come over and show me how to do that and just take
Yeah.
care of it for me. So,
Right. Yeah, I mean, you bring up a good point, and people do look at our industry as a commodity, but the thing is I teach my students this, what makes you different is what makes you better. So
absolutely.
don't just be like everybody else. Do something different. And like you said, you could be an expert in this space, and that's all you have to do. That still makes you different. And again, what makes you different is what makes you better. And if you don't have anything that differentiates you, then you are a commodity. So you never want to be a commodity. You always want to differentiate yourself, even if it's, like you said, as small as just becoming a disinfection expert, or there's all sorts of things that you can be claimed to be an expert on in the cleaning space. But again, what makes you different is what makes you better.
And if you're different and you don't tell anybody or show
Right.
anybody, you're
Right.
not different.
It's got to be on your website.
You are a little different than other ARCSI members in that you are a franchise.
Okay. Yeah.
And so tell us about your journey on becoming an ARCSI member, and what would you tell other franchisees? Because there are many others also that are members, but as a rule, franchisees tend to look to their franchisor for direction, but
Yeah.
there's certainly something of value within ARCSI that made you decide, you know what, I'm going to get involved with ARCSI. So tell us about that and what you feel the value is for others.
I mean, for me personally, there's just been so much value. I've met so many wonderful people that have actually helped me, not me helping them, it's them helping me. The amount of knowledge that you can tap into of the minds that are in this group is, it's priceless, honestly. I've made some really great friends in the ARCC environment. For me, it's all about networking. And again, I mean, I use it to my advantage. It's friendships, but it's also business relationships. I've learned and tapped into so many great minds in this space. When I attended last year's convention in Las Vegas, I didn't have a whole lot of expectations. In fact, I just kind of had none going into it. But I attended a talk by Marcus Sheridan, and I didn't know who Marcus was, but he's a leader in the industry, in the pool industry. He's a speaker, presenter. Again, I know nothing about Marcus. I happened to go to his presentation, and really, what I walked away from his presentation with, like what I walked away with, as far from a knowledge standpoint, was worth the entire investment of what I spent on getting to Las Vegas, paying for the room, paying for the event. His presentation alone was worth the price of admission. And after he gave his presentation, I got out of my seat, I went right to Marcus, and I told him that. I said, you literally you were worth the price of admission of getting here. And that's what people need to know. If you put yourself in those types of environments, that's when you separate yourself from your competition, because you're learning the secrets to success. And that's what Marcus shared with us during that 1 hour. It was absolutely mind-blowing. I wish I could go back in time and just listen to it again. But I really feel like if you become an ARCC member, you're opening yourself up to something like that, going to an event with Marcus Sheridan where nobody else is going to be exposed to that kind of information. But again, the networking and learning from other people, it's the possibilities are endless. So yes, I'm part of a franchise. My franchise doesn't have a lot of events because we're all scattered all over the country. And so, I mean, the fact that now I'm involved with ARCC, I am part of monthly meetings, and I've made a lot of good friendships. Alonzo and I are really good friends. We probably talk at least one time a week. And so, I mean, for me, it's not just business, it's also personal too. I've made a lot of good friendships.
Well, great. For me, ARCC was about the gold that you could get. You
Gold,
could
yeah.
rich stuff at 10 o'clock on a sofa in a hospitality suite.
Yeah.
Profound things that you hear from another business owner that you would have never imagined. Talk about expanding your vision. And
right.
you can't buy that anywhere else.
You can't
get that.
No.
So thank you for that about ARCC. And for those, we talk in this cleaning speak. ARCC is the Association of Residential Cleaning Services International. They're part of the Worldwide Cleaning Association, ISSA. Final question, but I think one of the most important.
Okay.
What do you want to accomplish, Carrie Knight, as the cleaning boss?
So the reason I call myself the cleaning boss, I mean, it's kind of a play on words, right? But the reason I can say confidently that I'm the cleaning boss is because I have the confidence in my business now from what I've learned. And that was my own business education or self-education. I don't know what you want to call it, but I truly believe that every business owner along their journey needs to continue to learn. You need to put money into, you need to invest into your education. And maybe it's not with me, I'm not saying with me, but you have to continuously learn from other people. Tony Robbins once said that if you want to model success, then go out and find somebody who's already achieved what you want and model what they've done. And business really is as simple as that. If you found somebody that has what you want, you literally just go out and you model exactly what they've done. So that's what I did in my business. I modeled success. And the way that I had to do that is I had to go out and find it. And so me personally, I've spent, I mean, my guess, if I had to put a price on it, would be about $50,000 on my education outside of college. It's my business education. It's all about self-improvement. There's a lot of mindset stuff that you need to learn to be successful. And you just, earners our learners are earners. And it's true for every space, not just the cleaning space. Like you have to continuously seek education. And ARCSI is a great example. You can learn from others. But I mean, along your journey for you to get where you want to be, more than likely you have to pay for a business coach of some sort, which is exactly what I've done multiple times to get to the next level. And the reason you have to do that is because they truly hold the key. Like the business coaches that I've worked with, they've given me the key. Like, here's the key, just turn this and that's what you do. Like the key to success is really to learn from others, because they shortcut your learning curve. Like you could do it on your own, but it's just going to take you longer. They truly shortcut your learning curve.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I am a personal, I guess, guinea pig success of a personal and professional development program.
Okay.
Never went to college. I grew up on a farm though, and that was almost like college
Yeah.
and NFL at the same time. So, and it was not a small farm, and enjoyed every minute of it. I often go back there and visit. But
Wow.
the things that I learned from that were that you can't stop learning, and that there are a lot of people that go to school and get degrees, but they did it because of some external force, pressure from their parents, or they're just
Yeah.
a culture of, well, that's what everybody else does. I have to do that to get a job or whatever. But people that engage in a personal and professional development program, they do it because they want to. And that want to is really a key in
Mhm.
their success. And
Right.
so I recommend that people build that into their budgets for their business plan and their operating plan. They need to delegate a certain amount of money to how many books you're going to read. It's
Yep.
not just money, but it's time and energy. You know, who are you going to meet? How many new people in the industry or other successful business owners? Or maybe are you going to go talk to some failures now and then down on,
Mm-hmm.
as we've talked about Jim Rohn some in our conversation. He suggests people should go down to Skin Row occasionally and talk to some failures. You learn a lot that way.
Wow,
So,
that's a really interesting perspective.
so you know, if all the failures in the world maybe wrote a book or two, we could learn a lot, couldn't we?
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
but at the same time, the climb out of failure into
Yeah.
success is a story too, and certainly you have yours. And I'm honored to know you, Carrie. Um, uh,
You.
you're a familiar name. I think I told you my wife's name is Carrie as well.
Yeah.
And could you tell our listeners today a little bit about how to get in touch with you? Because you have a lot of things going on that they might want to benefit from. You could share that too.
Yeah, so right now what I'm doing is I'm offering a 5-day like live program with me. It's called the 5-day Cleaning Boss Challenge. It's 5 full days. I go Monday through Friday for 1 hour where I meet just like this in a live setting with cleaning business owners. And we have actual designated tasks for the day that they have to complete. So there is homework that comes out of every day. And the reason I have the homework is because it forces you to be accountable to the group. Like you feel pressure to do your homework because you have to report back to the group. So my 5-day challenge is truly designed to give you results. And I just want to share this with you real quickly. On Tuesday this week, I had one of my students who went through the program book a call with me. And so we had a call just like this. And the first thing she says to me, she's like, Carrie, you're not even going to believe this. She said, I booked 7 biweekly customers yesterday because of what I learned in the program. She said, I've quantified these 7 biweekly customers. If they stay with me for the whole year, that's $30,000 in revenue. So those were her words. Like she said it. She's like, what I learned has blown me away. It was 5 days. That's it. 5 days, but they had to take action. So I do have courses. I have other courses that I have online that you can buy. But the reason this one has been so successful is for 2 reasons. Number one is the group accountability. People don't want to be ashamed of not having their homework done and, you know, saying in front of the group, I didn't do my work, because they're accountable to taking action. And number two, I mean, like, it's a live environment. So people don't want to skip out and say like, oh, I can't do it, you know, because a crisis came out. And we're always going to have crises. We're always going to have fires to put out. It's 1 hour a day that forces people to take action in their business. So it's been successful because people have literally taken the time to implement what they've learned. And just like Tina, when we had the call this week, she implemented what she learned and she had huge results because of it. So that's called the 5-Day Cleaning Boss Challenge. I do it 2 times a month. And I don't know when my next one is. It's
Where could they find out?
just go to carrieknight.com. So www.carrieknight.com, and there are links in there to my my courses, but the one that I'm doing live is the Cleaning Boss Challenge. So just go to Carrie Knight to find that information.
Okay, great.
Okay.
So you also have a podcast coming up, July?
I do. Yes, I've got a podcast coming. The name of the podcast is going to be called Cleaning Business Secrets. The reason I called it that is because there are little secrets in this industry that people are not aware of. Again, they didn't become, I didn't see them until much later in my journey. So the reason behind my podcast is to share the little strategies that I learned along the way to make huge changes in my business. So I love marketing and sales. So that's probably where I'm going to spend a lot of my time on the podcast, is heavy focus on marketing and sales. I mean, that's where the money comes from. But I know that, you know, we've got to deal with employee issues and hiring and firing and operations. So it'll be a little bit of that too. But truly for me, the secrets and the results that have come in my business are from the secrets that I've learned along the way. And that's truly from marketing and sales.
Well, thank you, Carrie, for sharing some secrets with the audience on Pro House Cleaning with us. So I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. This was a lot of fun. I really appreciate it.
So everyone now knows why Carrie Knight is the cleaning boss. Thank you for watching this edition of Pro House Cleaning, where we talk about the people and the process of professionally cleaning homes so they're safe, inviting places to be.